welcome to MTS Foundry, my little workshop home office. Just to give you just a quick rundown, and don't mind the dog beds, but this unit is what I've nicknamed the Forge. This is currently a Ryzen 2600 with 32 gigs of RAM, 2 terabytes of storage on an NVMe, and a Ryzen RTX 3080. And this is going to be the test bench that we're going to start working on first today, because I'm going to swap this card out with some lower scaled cards that's a lot cheaper that might fit budget builds. And then over here, what happened later, this is a Dell Precision T5600. That is my main workstation that I use for my AI projects. This is currently got two Xeon E5 2690s, but they're the V1 models, and 128 gigs of DDR3 RAM with a 1 terabyte SATA solid state drive and a 2 terabyte Western Digital green hard drive. And for a video card, this one came with a FHIR Pro AMD. It's like a 1 or a 2 gigabyte card. I took it out and put a Quadro P4000 in it. That's an 8 gig card, and it has greatly helped this machine and what I'm working with. And later this week, we're getting a new power supply. This has the factory 635 watt PSU. I'm putting an 825 watt Dell PSU in it because it's just hot swappable. You just pop it, pull it. And I also have a P6000 coming, which is a 24 gig Quadro card. And this has been my biggest budget one. I only paid $200 for this unit. Then I paid another I paid another $80 for the video card, since it's the 8 gig one. The P6000, unfortunately, because everybody is slamming the market when it comes to anything that's got over 16 gigs of VRAM, was a little more pricey. It was a little over $300 for it, but I'm going to run it. I'm going to see how it goes. But let's get this machine apart and show you the video cards that we're going to start testing with. Alright, so selection of cards that we've got. Obviously inside, I'm just going to show you as I'm running it now. I've got the 3080. This one is my primary workhorse. I use it mostly for the image generations, because I also do a lot of, I've got other side projects with, hello Charlie. Get your nose back. Get your nose back, buddy. I do side hobbies with image generations for cover arts and all, and that card has worked phenomenal with that. And this system actually makes a pretty good budget build by modern standards. The Ryzen 2600 that's in it, you can find it on eBay for like 40 bucks. It's got a B450 Tomahawk motherboard. I've seen them on eBay for 60. I've got a Western Digital one. Well, I've upgraded this one. This one is a Kingston 2 terabyte NVMe, and I paid $280 for it, but I needed that because of storage options. But I have seen like the Western Digital Blue version of this, that's 1 terabyte. There's quite a few I've seen on eBay for $95 a piece. So as a whole, the only thing that's going to be expensive, and even this computer case, I got it off of Amazon. It's however you want to pronounce that, Musset X. I only paid $65 for it, and it looks good to me. And it has enough airflow because it's got a fan here, it's got the 3 here, 2 here, 1 in the back, and I've got it air cooled and for running this as AI, and a lot of my other models are sometimes a hybrid where part of it's on the CPU, part of it's on the GPU, because it's only got 10 gigs of GPU, and it works. It works really good. So probably, depending on what you have at home, most of this stuff I have acquired over the years because, well, gamer at some point. So I've got it for spare, but I've already looked, like the 1050 Ti's, you can find them for about $80 and $70. I wouldn't really probably recommend, but if you've only got this, if this is all you got, that's what we're about to find out, see what we can do with it. The 1660, this is a 6 gigabyte card, where this one's a 4. You would have a little bit more models that you can run cleanly. This one is a 1650 Super. This is the direct replacement to the GTX 1050. And then this one is a RTX 2080. And while shining a lot into it, I can tell this thing needs some cleaning, but that's all right. So for now, let me stop talking. Let's get this card swapped out, put the 1050 in, and then we'll hop over on my main system and remote into it and see what she can do. All right, she's alive. So got her booting up. Let's go get on and remote into it and start running some tests. All right, welcome back. We're now at my main system, remoted in. It took me a minute. I had to uninstall the drivers that I had set up for the 3080 and then reinstall it now for the GTX 1050, and it's showing. Everything's looking good. It's got its 4 gigs showing. Looking at B-top, everything here is looking good, and again, just as like I was saying, we've got roughly 32 gigs of RAM in this system. And just to show on the CPU, I am using a Ryzen 5 2600. This is an old system I had for a while, and working pretty good for what I need. And what we're going to show on our benchmarking today, we are going to use these small models to be so this is going to be the Llama 2B model, the Phi-4 Mini latest, Llama 3.2 latest, and the the Gwen 2.5 Coder 3B. I'm sorry, I was looking at this 14B model. And then we may test some of the 8B models as well, just to show the split. One is being offloaded from, you know, the GPU and going to the CPU, so we can see the difference there. All right, so let's get started. We're going to do this first one. Run this in verbose so we can get the counts at the end. And just showing over here, let's get out of that, and it's 100% in GPU. All right, so I've got a list of questions here that I'm going to test each one of them. First one, since I work in healthcare IT, I want it to tell me about the FHIR repository. And yeah, for a 4 gigabyte older generation card, this is moving pretty quick. And then watching over here, yeah, it is at 93% GPU being used. And there we go. That is working at, you know what, let's go ahead and take some notes while I'm thinking about it. Let's see, we're doing the 2B results. So I'm going to say question 1. And it took how many seconds? Or wow, just 19.4 seconds. But this is good enough. All right. I don't know if the motorcycle came in that, but I'm sorry about that. All right, next we're going to ask it to tell us about the Cures Act. Yeah, let's paste that in. And again, this model runs pretty quick, so I'm pretty impressed with this little 4 gig model for it being an old card. It's still showing that, yeah, it runs pretty quick. Average enough. This is, I mean, it's good enough. It's quick to read. It's about the same speed as using an online form. 20 seconds duration, 32 tokens per second. So again, it's this speed's working pretty good. Now this other one is a little more technical. I'm a developer on the IBM i series. I have a table. We're calling it CDM mast in PA lib. I need an SQL statement that will select the fields, CDM number, CDM description, CDM amount, and only pull records where the first 2 characters of CDM descript starts with a capital N and a hyphen. So we're going to see how quick that runs, and I'm also going to see if it pulls it correctly. Again, it's quick. The logic, not so much. It is selecting the fields correctly, and is selecting it from CDM mast and where the description field is like. Oh no, yeah, this is not correct. What that should look like, IBM's will be library dot file name. So that would have been palib.cdm mast. And then where the CDM script is like, I specifically stated an N hyphen, it forgot the hyphen. So it'll pull every description that has N for the first letter. So it kind of left that off. But overall, so I'll say it definitely failed on the technical side. But it's minor. It's, and plus this is not the coding model. So overall, as you can see, the speeds are pretty on point. And if you also wanted to see this, for example, on screen, we have it here too. I've got everything set up here also. And let's refresh, because I just got those downloaded. Yep, Gemma 2B, and that one's already on there. And this so far is actually pretty close to being on point. And it looks like it actually gave me more information this time. Oops, it jumped on me. And again, response tokens, that's 32.29. So it's pretty close to the same as what it's doing in the terminal window. So not bad, I would say, for a small model and you only got a 4 gigabyte card. This is pretty good. So let's go ahead and, I think it's remove. No, stop. That's what it is. Not remove. I don't want to delete it. Stop jamming. 2B. That way, and the reason why I'm doing that is just to make it quicker to load up. So the next one on our list is going to be this Phi-4 latest. And we're going to do the same thing here. As you can see, the speed on it is also pretty good. Quite a bit of detail there. So I'll tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and run through these. And if I see anything interesting, I'll pause it. Otherwise, I'm going to show a little slide because I don't think you guys are going to want to watch me go through every single one in this same manner. So I'll catch up back to you in a minute. So I've come back because I wanted to show this Pi-4 model for getting heavier information, more detailed. I would say this is definitely one to use if you're needing a 4B or smaller in size. I was pleasantly surprised with that. And the tokens per second slowed on this one. Did I overlook? Oh, I did that wrong. That was 21. It's getting ahead of myself on that. And that was actually 2164. This one is 2031. All right. So while we're back on it, we'll go ahead and see this one in real time. We'll switch over to this one just to see where it'll give a better view. Oh, and since I've got this set up with the little dot, that just means it's currently active. That was quick, and that was actually on point. That's correct. It's got the field names as I defined them. It's pulling, and this is the correct way. You'll put the library first and then the file name. And then we're going where the description is like, and yes, it's got the N hyphen. So even for if you just needed some small technical SQL quick statements, any kind of little small stuff, quick statements for coding, this is good in my book. This works. So this one took 22.02. So we're going to make a note of that. 22.02. All right, so we're going to run through the rest of these and I will present a graph at the end. Just wanted to show the times on this, what version are we using? Llama 3.2 latest. For the SQL statement, it was, again, it was correct. Not sure if I would have gone that route, but this one here, where they're kind of doing a left alignment of the description, first two characters, yep, that would work. 24.87 tokens a second. Did I put that there? Yep. And then asking about the Cures Act, 25.90 seconds. And then asking to, tell me about the FHIR repository, 27.12, if I'm saying that right. FHIR. All right, on to the next one. All right, now we're on the Quinn 2.5 coder 3B, or yeah, 3B. Again, this one did really good. It gave me the correct SQL. Even included the semicolon at the end, because if you're using Access Client Solutions and you're running your SQL scripts that way, that's got to be at the end of every one. So that's a win. And this one took 27.45 to generate it. 27.45. Now I put very limited on this other one because for the Cures Act, it's gave some information, but it could have been a little more detailed. Llama so far is the winner on that one. It gave a lot of detail on this, and so did the Pi. Both of those were really good, but all of them kind of work in their own ways. And again, they're all for different functions. If you're just needing a model for general chat and smaller, quick questions, quick answers kind of things, the Llama 3.2 or the Phi-4 Mini would, either one of those, in my opinion, would work pretty good for it. If you're looking at, like for me, as a programmer, the coder, and surprisingly, the Phi-4 Mini also got it correct, but the Quinn 2.5 coder, it was good. It was on point. So I've got no complaints. So now what we're going to do, oh, let me start over with that. All right, we're not going to try and load a 14B. I think that'll probably be too much for this. We will use one of the 8Bs. Let's see. That one's 4.9 gigs. You know what? Let's give that a whirl. Oh, yep. Here we go. All right, so that part is loaded. This one should be, yes, now this is what I was referring to as a split, because this 8B model is 5.6 gigs. So 45% of it is on the CPU, 55% is on the GPU. And I'm just going to ask it some of the same questions because just want to see what the speed is on it. And that's still coming across at a respectable rate for a 4 gig card. I am curious to see what the super would be. Let's see, this one is 2.18B. All right, so I'm going to let this run. It's going to take a while. I'm going to run through all 3 questions and then I'll bring you back. All right, we are back. So in the 3 questions, the first one's 9.68 tokens per second. The second one was 9.01 tokens per second. And the third one, 8.54 tokens a second. So all roughly close to the same. Now, the only problem that I ran into, as you can see, when I ask it about FHIR, which if you need to know is fast healthcare, interoperability, resources, and it gave detailed enough information. It's kind of on point. And I was even more impressed with the second part asking it to tell me about the Cures Act, because it actually added on because of my prior question and brought that in. So that was good to me. I like that. The SQL question I gave it, so at least from my point of view, Llama 3.1 8B is definitely not really a coding related model. It's more maybe research, general chat, discussions, because, or at least from a DB2 standpoint, it forgot to include the library name structure in here. But overall, still, for a little 1050 Ti 4 gig card, that's still respectable times. So let's see what our next tests are going to be. All right, just to start with this, I think the next one we're going to run is this Gwen 3 8B. This one to me is a good general all-around assistant. And let's see how much it's using. It's 6 gigs in size, and it is evenly split, 50-50. All right. So let's see what kind of speeds we're going to get on this. Looking at that, I'm thinking probably between 5 and 7. So let's let this run. I'll go ahead and run through all 3 questions, and I'll bring you back once it's done. All right, this one finally completed. Let's go ahead and make a note of this last one. Now, one thing I've noticed with this particular model of Gwen is listed as a good general assistant, especially for coding. And yes, it definitely got this correct for, I'll put it up here, for the IBM SQL portion. But what I mean by general assistant, I think it's a little more, because as you can see, it does a lot of thinking. It does a lot of reasoning. And because of that, at least on this 4 gig card, it is way much slower than the other ones. Plus, half of it is spilling over into system RAM, which on these type of machines, it's only dual channel. So the speed is going to be a lot slower. And I think this is where I'm going to call it quits for today. Because if I pull any others on this particular card, oops, that's not what I wanted. If I start going up into the 14Bs, if I'm already getting between high 4, low 7, or I think that was what, one it was maybe a 9. Yeah, Llama was getting up to 9, Gwen was getting up to 6. And I'm thinking that's because this one was probably a little more on a dense. If I get up to 14, we're probably going to see like 1 or 2 tokens a second, because at that point the majority of the model is being dumped into system memory. So from a comfortable standpoint, this is about as far as I would probably want to go with this type of a card, is an 8B or lower, 4B being the sweet spot. So hope you enjoyed it. Hope this gives you a little bit of context when it comes to the 1050 Ti. It's an older card, but it actually surprised me. It runs at least these 4B models pretty well. So thanks for watching, and have a wonderful day.